Hi, Math 2. So Tuesday's night homework is going to be a review of completing the square. And so step number 1 when we complete the square is we need it equal to 0. We need everything on the same side of the equal sign. That's the truth whenever you're solving for a quadratic in general. That's an easy first rule. So the opposite of a -4 is a +4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. And the opposite of a positive 8x is a negative 8x. So we're going to subtract 8x from both sides. The reason that we do that is -4 plus 4 is 0. That cancels out. 8x minus 8x is 0. That cancels out. And so I'm going to rewrite my equation, 3x squared, and then I'm going to put minus 8x first, because remember we want to go x squared, x, and then our constant, and then the +4, and now that's equal to 0. Now, the reason that we want to do this is because we might be able to factor it. There's lots of different ways to solve the quadratic, but we know a good first step is get it equal to 0. Then, we actually are going to move the constant back to the other side by subtracting 4. Now, I know this step is redundant. We just moved it, and now we're moving it back. I know that that seems silly, but the reason that we're going to do that is because I want you to get in the habit of always making it equal to 0 before you do anything else. Then you'll always be set up to be successful when you're solving quadratics. So we do have to divide everything by 3. We need to pull a 3 out because that's in front of the x squared. Now 8 over 3 can't be simplified, so we're going to write it as a fraction. And then we have this blank, and that's equal to -4. Now to fill in that blank, we take our b value, divide it by 2, and square it. And so I'm actually going to do the math over here to the right. You do not need to write this. But just so you know, if we take -8 over 3 and divide that by 2, that's the same as taking -8 over 3 and multiplying it by 1/2. Dividing by 2, multiplying by 1/2, the same thing. So I get -8 over 6. And then if I square that, square it, then I get 64 over 36. Oh, there we go. Sorry, it is not writing there, so let's write it up here. 64 over 36. Now we can simplify that. Sorry, Math 2, we're going to have to write it over here. So when I simplify that, I can divide them both by 4 to get 16 over 9. Now if we add 16 over 9 to the left side, we need to also do it to the right side. However, we didn't actually add 16 over 9. We added 16 over 9 times 3 because of this 3 out front. We need to multiply that back in. So 3 times 16 over 9 is actually 16 over 3. So we're going to add that into that side. So when we simplify it, we have 3 times, now remember we have to write our perfect square here. You always put x in the front, square it outside, and to get this number in the middle, we just take our b value and divide it by 2, which is 8 over 6, which we actually do want to simplify to, we can divide those both by 2, 4 over 3. And we're going to set that equal to -4 plus that 16 over 3, which is 4 over 3. So once we complete the square, we actually just want to solve. And so we need to solve for our x values. And so we're going to use that bottom equation to do so. So the first step is we're going to divide everything by 3. The reason that we do that is that our multiplication of 3 out front goes away. And so we have x minus 4/3 squared is equal to 4/3 divided by 3, which is 4. Then we want to square root both sides, so we get x minus 4 over 3 is equal to positive or -2. Now I'm running out of room, you may be as well. I'm going to write the two problems that we need up here. And so because we have positive or -2, we need to have x minus 4/3 equals positive 2, and x minus 4/3 equals negative 2. And then we just want to solve by adding 4/3 to both sides. So with the first one, I get x is 10/3. And again, you should be using a calculator to do this with the fractions. And for the second one, when I add 4/3 to both sides, and those cancel out, I get x is equal to negative 2/3. So I know this one was a lot of steps. Make sure you copy down every single step for every problem here. And then go ahead and do the practice problems on the back.